Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the inaugural CanAm VRL International Sports Car Championship. We have 14 race season coming up. We've got 26 minutes remaining in practice. We're at round 1 Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in the UK. Let's take a quick look at our schedule for this season. We will be starting today with Silverstone. In 2 weeks' time, on the 9th of March, we will be running at Slovakia Ring. 23rd of March will be Zandvoort. 6th of April will be Malaysia. 20th of April will be Suzuka, followed by Bahrain on the 4th of May. The 2.4 hour of Spa on the 18th of May. Laguna Seca on the 1st of June, Sebring on the 15th of June, Phillip Island in Australia on the 29th of June, Highlands Motorsport Park in New Zealand on the 13th of July, Sao Paulo, Brazil on the 27th of July, Montreal, Canada on the 10th of August, and finishing off the season on the 24th of August with the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. 14 race season. Broadcast live here on twitch.tv/CanAm VRL. So let's take a look at this championship. It is a multi-class racing series. We have cars running in the LMP2 class. This is a single make class with a spec chassis. The drivers will be driving the Orica 07 LMP2, which is a carbon fiber and honeycomb monocoque chassis weighing 930 kilograms. It is powered by the Gibson V8 engine, 4.2 liter V8 engine, producing 603 horsepower at 9,000 RPM. Drivers in that class will be the car number 3, driven by Dale Smith. Car number 10, driven by Corey Reynolds. Joe Bryant will pilot the 16. Brett Nagel is driving the 23, Tar Heel Racing entry. Francisco Maya from Colombia will be entering the FMS Racing number 24. Brian Pettit is driving the number 42 entry. Josh Nessel will be driving the Airgas number 51. David Fuller in the United Motorsports number 92. And Greg Prochnow will be driving the number 99 Gainsco Red Dragon. We also have the GTE class running. There are 3 entries in this class. We have the BMW M8 GTE. This is an aluminum and carbon fiber reinforced plastic chassis with a steel safety cage. Weighs in at 1,250 kilograms with a 4-liter V8 twin-turbo engine producing 592 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. We'll also see the fan favorite Chevy Corvette C7R, also an aluminum and CFRP chassis with steel safety cage at 1,245 kilograms. The infamous Chevy LT5 5.5-liter normally aspirated V8 pushrod engine producing 491 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPM. And we will also see another fan favorite, the Porsche 991 RSR GTE. Again, aluminum CFRP with a steel safety cage, weighs in at 1,243 kilos. A 4-liter normally aspirated flat 6 boxer engine, everybody's favorite sounding engine. 510 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. So let's take a look at the GTE entries for this season. We have Josh Beeling in the number 3 Corvette. He'll be teamed up with Jason Rabe in the number 4 Corvette. You'll be able to tell these two cars apart. Jason's is all black. Josh is black with yellow hood scoop and roof stripe. Chad Bartram pilots the number 5 RSR. Bruce Robinson will be in the OSU Cowboys BMW entry, the number 7. His teammate, Joe Nelson, will be in the numbered 33 Luminous BMW. Morgan Rash will be in the STP number 56 Corvette. My own entry is there. I'm hoping to get back behind the wheel at some point down the road. For now, I'll be your host here in the booth until we can find ourselves a permanent broadcast team. In the meantime, I'll take over the broadcasting responsibilities. I do have my car entries entered, so I do have my grid spot. I do have my number reserved. I'll be hopefully at some point this season piloting the number 68 BMW, teammate to both Bruce Robinson and Joe Nelson. Brad Beath will not be in today's race, but he has entered the number 75 Corvette. He will be driving that later on through the rest of this season. Joe Daniels in the number 88 RSR. We have Jacob Levesque in the Jägermeister number 91 Corvette C7R. Soon-to-be dad Ian Pretorius in the number 99 BMW. And we'll have Tom LeBeuf in the RSR number 245. And Daniel Ferguson finishes out the field in the number 925 RSR. That is our grid for this season. We may have a few more entries. Not sure the entire grid is going to be here tonight. We do have a few people that have not been able to make it tonight. We do see 16 cars on track right now, though. So let's take a look again. Obviously, this is the first race, so there are no point standings yet, but we will be tracking the point standings as we go through the season. Currently, the drivers are simply ordered in their car number order. So we do have 28 drivers registered. We've got 16 on track right now. Hoping for a few more to join for this race, but a number of drivers had some last-minute things that came up that prevented them from joining with us tonight. So let's get back to the track action. We have about 18 minutes or so left in practice. Drivers will then be going into a qualifying session. So they do have a 55-minute practice session to start. That will be followed by a 35-minute qualifying session. It will be split qualifying, 15 minutes for the GTEs for the first 15 minutes of the session. There will be a 5-minute red flag period between sessions. During that time, there will be a driver briefing by one of the panel members in the room. Just a reminder of start procedure and yellow flag procedures and things like that. So the starting procedure, I'll get back to that in a minute. Once that 5-minute period is done, then the remaining 15 minutes of qualifying is a 15 minutes for the LMP2s. So we'll see the LMP2s on track exclusively in the tail end of the qualifying session. Now, getting back to the start procedure and the yellow flag procedures, we are using a rolling start procedure with a pace car. So drivers will do a manual pace formation lap. Pace car will peel off. They will come around to the start-finish line. They will get the green flag at that point, and off they go. Let's go racing. In the first 5 green flag laps, if there is a multi-vehicle incident, drivers involved will call for a caution. They will immediately reduce down to pace lap speeds and do a pace lap at that point. Pits will be open, assuming that none of the cars have passed the pit entrance yet. The pits will be open. If the leader has already passed the pit entrance, the pits will be called closed. That will be up to the race leader to call at that point. They will call for a closed pits, which means they'll do a full formation lap before they can pit. Drivers will pit for repairs, and the next lap out after the pits will be a caution lap, and the next time by the stripe they'll go back to green. Drivers are very familiar with the process. We've been doing this for a number of seasons now, so it sounds more confusing than it actually is. It's actually a very straightforward process. From lap 6 on, once the cars are on lap 6, It is local yellow flags only, so there will not be any more full course cautions at that point. So they only have one shot at a full course caution, and only in the first 5 laps. Hopefully we won't see any of that, but the idea behind that is to try and keep the cars closer together during the start. We do realize that the first 5-6 laps is where incidents are most likely to happen between multiple cars. So we give it a chance for everybody to get repaired, get grouped back up, and get a restart going. So it's kind of like a do-over. After that, it is yellow flags, or local yellow flags only. Deal with your damage on your own to the end of the race. Now, tonight's race is a 90-minute event. Some of our races will only be 60 minutes this season. We will be looking at 90 minutes for tonight. And we do have, as mentioned, the 2.4-hour events, or 144-minute events throughout the season as well. So let's take a look through the field. Right now we're on board with Corey Reynolds. We've been watching him in the number 10 Konica Minolta car. Let's check in with some of the other drivers and see how we're doing here. We're on board, or looking at Josh Nessel now in the Airgas number 51. This is Greg Prochnow in the number 99 Gainsco Red Dragon. Francisco Maya, otherwise known as Frank, has joined us. He's in the garage at the moment, as we can see here. Joe Bryant in the Velocity Orica, number 16. Brett Nagel in the Tar Heel, number 23. And Brian Pettit in the number 42, sitting in 7th right now by the look of it. I'll bring standings up in a minute here when we don't really track a lot of standings in the practice session. We can see Ian and Bruce are both in the garage, as is Reno. Looks like most of the GTE cars are currently in the garage. There we go, Joe Nelson on track. Morgan Rash about to be overtaken by Brett Nagel. We will be seeing a fair amount of traffic. The LMP2 drivers are going to have to deal with a fair amount of GTE traffic. We do have 12 LMP2s registered for the season and 16 GTEs, so the LMP2s will be dealing with traffic quite a bit through most of these races, which will get interesting as we get to some of the smaller tracks. Silverstone has the advantage. It's a very large track, a lot of places to be able to overtake, a lot of straightaways, a lot of sweeping corners. Where it gets tricky is when you're in some of the fast, tight corners, such as the Maggots, Beckett's, Copse complex. It's high speed, rapid changes of direction. There's really only one line through that section on the track. That really only gives the LMP2s a chance to get by either before or after. If they happen to catch a GTE in that section, they're probably going to get stuck behind that car for a little bit. Listen to that RSR as Joe Daniels comes through the corner. Jason Rabe in the garage, as is his teammate Josh Beeling. And we have most drivers still in the garage. See if we can find someone to ride on board with. Let's go back to Morgan Rash in that rumbly, beautiful pushrod V8 Corvette. go on board and take a ride for a lap here. As you can see, this is the section I was talking about. This is fairly quick. Oh, he runs wide, missed the corner completely, and aborted. Let's ride with one of the LMP2s. Sorry, I'm having to do a little bit of fixing of my layouts here. I thought I had this all set up earlier today. Oh, hard impact into the wall. That's going to leave a mark. Looks like we have a new fast lap. Looks like Frank has taken Corey's spot at the top of the leaderboard. Let's go on board with Corey for a little bit here. I'll just let you listen to that Gibson V8 for a little bit. Do need to try and rest my voice a little bit before we get into the race here. I am by myself in the booth today, so I do have to apologize for any silent periods where I'm taking a bit of a break. Just do want to preserve my voice for the 90 minutes of the race and through the 30 minutes of qualifying. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the practice session. We'll be moving into qualifying immediately after that. So Frank currently tops the leaderboard in the LMP2 class, and we have Ian Pretorius in the number 99 BMW topping the leaderboard in the GTE class. Fastest lap by Frank, a 1:45.838. That is the top time on the leaderboard at the moment. Ian's fast lap in the GTE is a 1:58.478. That is the top time in the GTE leaderboard. What I find very interesting is that Frank did a 1:45.8 on the soft tires. Corey is currently running on the medium tires and setting a 1:47.4 on his last lap. It's going to be an interesting battle in LMP2. The times are extremely close, especially when you consider that they're on different tire compounds at the moment. Pit strategies will be interesting as well, because everybody needs to make, in this 90-minute race, everyone will need to make at least one fuel stop. There's no way that any one car can make it to the end on a single tank. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out as well, whether somebody's going to pit early, pit late, how much fuel they'll need to take. Oh, that was sketchy. Into the final 2 minutes of practice now. Drivers will get the last lap or two in, and then we'll be into qualifying. You'll see all the cars return to the garage, and the GTEs will be first on track for the first 15 minutes. Again, if you're just joining us, we're in the last 15 seconds here of practice. We'll be going to qualifying in a minute. It'll be a 35-minute session split into two groups with a 5-minute break in the middle. GTE cars will be on track first for qualifying. I'm your host, Tom Harder, better known as F1 Racer 68, for those of you that have known me by my online handle for years. I'll be in the booth at least for the start of this season, hoping to get back on track towards the middle of the season. We are actively on the hunt for a permanent broadcast team. At the moment, I'm having to fill that role. As you can see, the checkered flag is flown here on practice session, so we'll just be giving the cars a chance to circulate back into the pit, take a couple of seconds, and that will get us into our qualifying here. So just stand by as we get into qualifying. And you can see the GTEs are heading out on track. I hope that track was green and that Ian didn't jump. Oh, looks like he might have. Looks like he may have taken a penalty there. Something the drivers are still getting used to as we make the switch over to R Factor 2 here. Some of the drivers are still getting used to the fact that the pits can be closed at the start of the session. So Ian's heading out for another attempt. I think I saw Josh be the first one out behind him, so we'll check in with Josh Beeling here in the number 3 Corvette. Drivers will be busy getting their tires heated up, getting them some warmth worked into those tires, get the pressures up, get ready for a couple of quick laps to put down a fast lap. Low fuel, hot tires, minimal downforce. Try and get the fastest lap you can possibly get to get the best starting position you can get. I love the strategy involved in racing. As you're going out for your qualifying run, you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to have a clean track and not be hindered by anyone, or do you want to try and have somebody in front of you that can give you a little bit of drag down the little bit of a draft down the straights, especially at a track like Silverstone where you have a number of long high-speed straights. If you can get behind someone and get a draft off of them, that'll gain you some more time as well. But then you run the risk of, if they're slower through the corners than you, that might actually slow you down. So it's always a chess match. Josh has been quick here in practice all week as we've been leading up to this race, so I expect him to be a challenger for the GTE pole. Do expect to see some fast times coming from him, and as I say that, he's already gone. Obviously purple in Sector 1 being the first car to hit Sector 1, but so far he's holding on to that purple. Both Morgan Rash and... oh, I take that back. Joe Nelson has gone purple in Sector 1 in the BMW. Good for him, my teammate. I know I'm supposed to be unbiased. So far, Sector 1, Joe's hanging on to that. Oh, no, Tom LeBoeuf just in the Porsche just went purple in Sector 1. We've still got Bruce Robinson and Ian Pretorius to put down times in Sector 1. Josh just went purple in Sector 2. Every car that crosses that stripe behind Josh is going purple as they cross that stripe in Sector 2. So let's see who ends up holding on to it. Still waiting on Reno and Tom just went purple in Sector 2 as well. Josh Beeling posts his first lap, 159.270, followed by Joe Daniels at a 159.534, and Morgan Rash a 159.833. Oh, Joe Nelson jumps to the top with a 158.9. Jason Rabe comes in with a 2-minute .4 flat. Tom LeBoeuf just went 158.173 in the RSR. And Reno lost some pace somewhere along the way. Was purple in a couple of sectors, but ends up with a 202.012. He probably had a small incident in the Sector 3. Still waiting on times from both Bruce Robinson and Ian Pretorius. Let's check in with our pole sitter and see how he's doing. Pretorius just went purple in Sector 1. Oh, Tom had an off. A little bit of a spin here. Picked up a little dirt on the tires. No damage to the car. That'll be an aborted lap. Number of drivers going quicker. They're posting greens in sectors. Ian Pretorius just went purple in Sector 2. We may be looking at a new pole sitter. Let me get on board with him as soon as I can here. Let's see the rest of this run as he comes through Sector 3. This may be a new pole time. In through Abbey, into Club. And heading to the start-finish line. And there it is, new pole, Ian Pretorius, 158.023. Very impressive lap time. Currently have Pretorius in first, LeBoeuf second, DeLauro in third, Nelson in fourth, Beeling fifth, Daniels in sixth, Rash seventh, Rabe is eighth, and Robinson is ninth, rounding out the GTE field at the moment. Did we have a driver join or leave? Not sure what caused that latency there. Apologize for that. Let's see how Tom's doing with a recovery run here. He does have some traffic in front of him now. Well, looks like Tom has aborted that run as well. Let's see who's left on track here. All right, let's see what Joe Nelson can pull off here. He's trying to improve his time. So it looks like so far, and it's hard to tell from what people's setups are, some guys will not bother spending time on qualifying with the length of racing that we do here. Hard to believe we are in our 8th year as a league and going into, geez, I've lost count. I think this is the start of our 15th season of racing. First season in a new simulation platform, though. We have recently switched. This will be our inaugural season in R Factor 2. Looks like we have about 5 minutes left in qualifying here for the GTEs. Let's see if anybody can post some new times. Anybody's got a chance to improve on where they are. Joe did improve on his first sector. He just set his personal best of 32.229. Let's see if he can improve here in Sector 2. I'm not seeing a Sector 2 time for him yet. New lap time, 1:58.9. Improved his lap time, but he did not improve his position. Oh, Morgan Rash just took a big jump all the way up into 4th place with a 1:58.844. He set personal bests in every sector. Top 5 cars are separated by less than 9/10. Let's see how Joe Daniels is doing here. He's on track as well. Check in with one of the RSR drivers. Two minutes remaining for GTEs. We will have a 5-minute break. I will actually take a break away from the booth during that 5 minutes myself. It'll be my last chance for a break before the race. So as you can imagine, being in the booth by myself tonight, I've got a whole lot of things to try and track. I'm trying to track the live timing and scoring so that I can keep everybody updated on what's happening there times-wise. I'm doing camera control. I'm attempting to keep up with the chat in the Twitch channel. And, of course, watch the race itself and give you the play-by-play. So I do apologize if I end up missing something somewhere along the way, especially when it comes to the Twitch chat comments. Thank you, Ratha, for having responded. It is an 8 and 8 split for tonight. We have 16 cars on track, 8 LMP2s and 8 GTEs. We do have a number of drivers who had some things come up last minute that have prevented them from being here tonight. So we should have a slightly larger grid. We do have 28 drivers registered for the season, 12 in LMP2 and 16 in GTE. So only about half the GTE field is here today. Some of those drivers are only part-time, and one of those missing GTE drivers is yours truly. I'm going to spend a little bit of time up here in the booth with you guys, keeping you guys company. Hopefully that won't be for too long, but we'll see what happens. I have to say I'm itching to get back behind the wheel. All right, that should be it for GTE. GTE should be done. We should be seeing the red flag at this point, the virtual red flag. As you can see, all the GTE cars are returning to the garage, so the LMP2s will be coming out in about 5 minutes. We're doing the driver briefing right now, being led by Joe Bryant, who's our senior panel member in the room tonight. So he'll be leading the driver briefing. And I will step away for a minute. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't adjust your set. We'll be back. All right, here we go. 15-minute qualifying for LMP2s. They are green flag. As we see the LMP2s heading out, we've got Joe Bryant and it looks like Josh Nessel heading out. No, I take that back. That was Francisco Maya or Frank. For some reason, we are seeing Frank running Josh Nessel's livery tonight. That's not going to be confusing at all. Not sure why that's happening. Something didn't load right with Frank's livery. We'll get that sorted for the next race. Looks like we do have a yellow flag for Frank. He's stopped on track. I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe just trying to get traffic out from behind him. I do expect Frank to be a strong contender for the pole position in LMP2. My money is on either Frank or Corey. They've both been quick all week long. Question is, can they translate that speed into a victory? Frank's trying to get some heat in those tires, get the pressures up. All the other drivers will be doing the same thing. Let's see, who do we have on track? We know we've got Frank. Here's Josh. Got Greg Prochnow in the number 99 Gainesco Red Dragon livery. Joe Bryant in the Sabai Technology Freak Velocity car. Brett Nagel in his Tar Heel custom livery. Brian Pettit in his NZXT. Yes, I said Zed. I'm Canadian. And Corey Reynolds in the Konica Minolta Wanna Be a Cadillac. Oh, we're seeing lap times coming in already. I'm not sure if these are legit. I guess they would be legitimate because the drivers crossed the stripe while they were still on pit lane, so as they were coming out of the garage. So they're timed laps, but they're not true timed laps. So we'll see those lap times come up. They'll be relatively slow for an LMP2 lap time. So just while we're waiting for these drivers to get up to speed and come around to start their timed laps, again, if we do still have plenty of spaces left on the grid, if anybody wants to join us for the rest of this season, feel free to come and join us. Sign up on our website at canamvrl.com. You can find all kinds of information there about the series, about other series that we run on other simulators. We are active on multiple simulators. Simulation platforms. We do have a Wednesday night single make challenge fun league that we run in Project Cars 2. Those are 2 races every Wednesday night, both in a single make. One race is a non-tuning event and the other race is a tuned event, and we usually announce the cars and tracks just a few days before the race. They're only 30-minute races. They're just for fun. It's a fun league just to keep the guys active during the middle of the week. We're also very active on iRacing. You'll see a lot of our guys over there, and we do participate, put team entries in all of our in all of the iRacing special event endurance events, such as 24 hours of Daytona, 12 hours of Sebring, the 24 hours of Spa, etc., etc. So you do see us active over there as CanAm VRL team entries as well. So feel free to check us out, sign up on the website, see what we have to offer. If you're interested in coming to racing with us, love to have you join us. So we do have some LMP2 times being set, and they're actually pretty respectable times. Josh Nessel with a 1:45.448 is your current pole sitter. Looks like Francisco Maya just actually managed to run the exact same time, so I'm not sure how legitimate those are. Brett Nagel with a 1:47.033 sits in third. 1:47.825 for Greg Prochnow, showing up on screen as AOD 2112. Joe Bryant running a 48.277. Brian Pettit with a 50.2. And Corey still waiting on a lap time, but he has gone purple in Sector 1, so expect this one to be a good one. Although it looks like he's still trying to build up heat and pressure in those tires. I'm not sure what's happening there. Looks like he's still trying to build up heat and pressure, but he's running some pretty good sector times. Let's see what we come up with as he comes across the stripe here, as he comes through club. And at the stripe, okay, that must have been an outlap. He must have aborted his previous run where he went purple in Sector 1. So we'll see what happens on this lap. Just under 8 minutes remaining in qualifying here for the LMP2s. We still have Josh Nessel on pole at 1:45.448. Of course, all of the Oricas in qualifying as you would expect. All of the Oricas running the soft Michelin compound. All right, here we go. This is a proper run from Corey. He's just gone purple in sectors 1 and 2. We could be looking at a new pole sitter here. And significantly quicker. There he goes, a 1:44.978 for Corey Reynolds. That is a new pole position. Now, who do we still have on track? Looks like we still have Greg Prochnow, AOD 2112. No significant improvement there. And we also have Joe still on track. Joe Bryant still on track. Where's he at on track? All right, let's see what Frank can pull off here. We know Frank's going to be challenging for that pole. He's gone a 1:45.418 on his last lap. Looking to improve it. Doesn't look like it's happening this time. No. No. No improvement. 3 minutes remaining. Just over 3 minutes remaining in qualifying. Well, looks like Corey's out there trying to see if he can improve his time. He's got Josh right behind him, also trying to improve his time. Minute and a half remaining in qualifying. A couple of cars still out on track. Still trying to see if they can improve their time. Let's ride with Josh Nessel here for a little bit. Looks like he's improving his own time, but he's not gaining any additional spots. Geez, that battle between Frank, Josh, and Greg is very close. Only about a tenth of a second between the three of them. Looks like Josh has backed off on that one. He's aborting the run. Down to 10 seconds remaining in qualifying, so that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anyone left on track. No, it looks like all cars are back in the garage. That's it for qualifying. Checkered flag on the qualifying session. All right, drivers are getting ready now. We should be heading to the grid shortly. Oh, we've got one car on track. I do apologize. I didn't realize we still had somebody left. Wow, Corey did improve his time. He ran a 1:44.730 is your pole sitting time. Well done. So congratulations to both Corey Reynolds and Ian Pretorius for their pole positions in their respective classes. So our starting grid will be in LMP2. We have Corey Reynolds, followed by Francisco Maya. Josh Nessel will start third. As we do our formation lap, I will run through the grid here. So we have Josh Nessel starting third, 21-12 in fourth, Joe Bryant fifth, Brett Nagel sixth, and Brian Pettit in seventh, last of the LMP2 qualifiers. We have the LMP2 field up front with the GTEs tucked in right behind. Formation lap behind the pace car. Again, your pole sitter, Corey Reynolds. Oh, looks like Frank may have missed. Yeah, it looks like Frank may have missed his time to get to grid. He'll be starting from the pit lane. That hurts. Long race, though, he can make that up. So in third place, we've got Josh Nessel. Fourth is Greg Prochnow in the number 99. Fifth is Joe Bryant. Sixth is Brett Nagel in the Tar Heel Racing entry. And seventh is Brian Pettit in the bright blue NZXT entry, number 42. Looking at GTE, we've got Ian Pretorius in the BMW, the number 33 BMW as your pole sitter. Right behind in second is Tom LeBeuf in the Honey Badger Racing Porsche RSR. Morgan Rash in third in the STP Advan Corvette, number 56. In fourth place, we've got Joe Nelson in the number 33 BMW. I apologize for that. I mentioned that number for Ian. Ian is actually the number 99. Fifth in class is Josh Beeling in the number 3 Corvette. That's the black one with the yellow hood scoop and roofline. And yellow mirrors. Sixth in class is Joe Daniels in the number 88 Porsche RSR entry. Seventh in class is Jason Rabe in the number 4 all-black Corvette. And rounding out the grid in 8th in GTE is Bruce Robinson in the number 07 BMW, the OSU Cowboys entry. As we come around the field here, getting ready for the start, as we come around the back half of the track, let's get back to our leaders and let's keep an eye on this start. Pace car brings them around still. I'm going to take a quick break just before that pace car pulls off. Be right back. All right, there goes the pace car. Here we come around for the start. Should be forming up side by side. Corey's got the lead. You hear the revs coming up. And we are green. We are racing for the first race of the 2019 International Sports Car Championship. Corey jumps out to a big lead right off the start. He got a good run. Oh, big big incident. That's going to bring out a yellow. That's going to bring out a yellow. Looks like Greg just completely missed his braking zone. That will bring out a yellow. Now we are running with full damage in effect, so Corey's going to have to watch the handling on that car. You can see the cars have all slowed down. We are full course caution. You may see the trackside marshals waving the green flag, but we are full course yellow. This is an in-house rule, so in the first 5 laps of green flag racing, if there is a multi-vehicle incident, they can call a caution, 1 caution. Pits will be open. Now, it looks like they have given the go-ahead for the 2 guys involved in the incident to do the quick run up to the pits as well so that they don't lose quite as much time and space. Again, this is an in-house rule that we've got just to keep things close together. We know that the first 5 laps or so are going to be a little bit trickier and more challenging. Cold tires, cold brakes, closer proximity, all of that. So we do give at least one chance for what is effectively a do-over on the start. So these guys will head to the pits. They'll get their cars repaired. There will be a post-race review as well to see if there's any need for... Now, watch your limiters. Watch your limiters. We'll do a post-race review on that as well to see if there's any need for any additional penalties. But I think that was a pretty clear incident. We'll see what happens after the race. So these guys will get their repairs. Everybody else remains at caution speed. These guys can come out and they will be able to reform with the LMP2 class. They'll be in there for a little bit lengthy repair. So at this point, I believe Frank will be your effective leader. No, sorry, Frank is still trying to catch up. Josh is leading the grid. We'll get this sorted out shortly. Now again, we do this because the guys that are getting repairs, it's going to be lengthy repairs, so we don't want them to lose too much. Don't want them to lose too much ground. They'll form up at the back of the P2 field. So they will have been instructed to hold at the pit exit and let the field go by. Okay, so as the field is coming around, they're preparing to go back to green on this lap. We'll see the drivers will be starting to try and build tire temperature and tire pressure back up again. And we're back to green. Here we go. That was close. That was close. I think Frank is trying to give back a lap here. I think he got caught out with that caution and starting from the pits. That messed him up. So that slow car that you saw, that was Frank in what should be the number 24 livery. This is the battle for first, second, and third that we're looking at here. Looks like Joe all over the back of Brett. Let's go watch that one. Oh, Joe went wide. Joe went wide. Oh, nice job avoiding. Good job avoiding that. That could have been a bad accident. Oh, that kind of resets that battle a little bit. Josh Nessel, apologies for that, tripping over my own tongue here. Josh just set a new fast lap, 149.090. It looks like Joe is catching right back up again on Brett. This is turning into a good battle right here. I think we'll stick with this one for a little bit. Looks like the GTE field has a pretty tight group back there as well. We'll check in on them in a minute. This is a really good, intense battle right here, right now. I want to stick with this one for a few minutes. Let's see if Joe can get this done. He's got a good draft now. He might get the... Oh, Brett ran wide. Oh, nice save, Joe. Almost lost it under braking. Locked up the rear brakes a little bit there, trying to avoid Brett. They're both struggling with keeping the car on the track. Doing a good job of hanging on to it. A couple of close calls there. It's like a good fight in the background there as well. Looks like Greg Prochnow just got it passed on Brian Pettit for 6th in class. Actually, we'll get that sorted out in a bit. I was looking at timing and scoring, and I completely missed what happened with Joe, but that gap suddenly opened up a little bit again. Oh, Joe just lost it. Joe just lost it. He looped it. Kept it going. He's got it. Gonna have to watch out for dirt on those tires now, though. We just saw one of the LMP2s peel into the pits back there. Trying to sort out what's going on with timing and scoring here. We're seeing something that's not making sense in the timing and scoring. Might have to look at that post-race. See what happened. Somehow something got messed up with that yellow flag. Looks like Joe is struggling a little bit. Now he's got traffic catching up from behind. We'll stick with this a little bit. Greg's got a good run on him. Just a couple of car lengths gap there. Alright, so this seems to have settled down a little bit. Let's go check in on the GTE class and see what we've got going on there. We've got Ian Pretorius leading that. Looks like he's got a pretty healthy gap back. A little over a second gap to... Not sure what we have going on here. Looks like they've called a caution in the room. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to actually jump into the other channel here on TeamSpeak and see if I can find out what's going on. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So just to give you an update, as I thought, the reason for this caution is because a couple of honest driver mistakes during that caution period with the repairs and things. So they're just trying to sort it out on track now rather than having to try and sort it out post-race. So they're sorting out the LMP2 order, and I think they've pretty much got that set. They'll be going back to green here shortly. So was a decision made in the room. Good call. The in-race stewards made the call, and they're getting it sorted out. So that's the reason for this caution. Again, normally we would not have 2 cautions in a race. This was strictly for sorting that out. So they'll get it sorted, and we'll be back to green shortly. The GTE grid, by the way, is as it should be. The GTE guys got it right. It'll all get sorted out here in a minute. So just to give you a rundown on the GTE class, we do have Ian Pretorius in first place in GTE, followed by Josh Beeling in the number 3 Corvette. Tom LeBoeuf in the 245. Looks like we are going green again. We are racing. Got Tom LeBoeuf in the 245 RSR, followed by Joe Nelson in the number 33 BMW, Jason Rabe in the number 4 Corvette, Joe Daniels, aka Power, in the number 88 RSR, Morgan Rash in the 56 Corvette, and Bruce Robinson in the number 07 BMW, bringing up the rear of that grid. So we'll stick with GTE for a few minutes here and see what kind of battles unfold in here. LMP2, they've got it sorted out. I'll give you an update on that. After the restart, we have Brett Nagel having taken the lead. Joe Bryant is in second. Corey Reynolds in third. Greg Prochnow is in fourth. Josh Nessel has dropped to fifth. Frank Maya has dropped to sixth. And Brian Pettit in seventh in the LMP2 grid. We'll check back in with them in a minute. Just try and see what kind of battles we have shaping up here in GTE. These guys don't get a lot of camera time, as we always tend to stick with the leaders. So let's give them their just time here on the camera for a little bit. Looks like Ian's opening up the gap a little bit here, but we've got a good, strong battle going on behind him. Let's check in with that. Looks like Tom and Joe are going at it pretty good back there. So this is the battle for third in GTE. Excuse me. Potentially a battle for second if they can get back up to the back of Josh Beeling up there. Be interesting to see what happens strategy-wise here as well. These guys are all running slightly different strategies. Everyone is going to have to stop for fuel. Although with that extended caution that they took, that may have played into the hands of a couple of them. They might be able to stretch it to no stopping now. It's going to be borderline on fuel for them. Looks like everybody's kind of stringing out a little bit here and kind of keeping position. So let's go check back in again with our... Oh, no. Joe Nelson's got a bit of a run here. Can he hang on to it and take advantage of it? He's closed right up. Doesn't look like he's close enough to get him under braking, though. Oh, we do have a battle for first going on in the leaders in LMP2. Let's check in on that. We've got Joe Bryant pressuring Brett Nagel, and he's got Corey Reynolds hot on his trail. Three-way battle for first place. Ooh, that got a little squirrely there for Joe. Do have to watch those curbs. Some of these cars do not like riding those curbs. Stiffly sprung suspension, you get off the curb, it's can be pretty harsh transition, and that will bounce the car and cause it to become unstable. Looks like Brett's feeling the pressure there a little bit. Slight lock up on the front and the braking. Oh! Not sure if Joe was trying to make a move there or if he just locked up the rears under braking, but the back end stepped out. All right, let's go on board with him, see this battle from inside the cockpit. Oh, he's fighting the wheel. He's fighting the wheel. Yeah, he's got a nervous car. Car looks good under acceleration, but it looks like he's got a pretty nervous car under braking. Oh, we got a nice line through there. Not too close. Oh. Making the move, making the move. Can he hold it? Nope. I had to back out of it. Got to be careful. This close, he's got to be careful of the aero wash coming off the car in front of him. That's going to take downforce away from him. That's going to make him run wider and have less effective braking as well. He closes up big under braking right there. Brett's got his mirrors full of them, that's for sure. He knows he's there. He might have the run here. Ducks to the inside. Can he hold it? No. Couldn't hang on to it. Now, oh, very nervous. And he lost the spot. I was afraid of that. Oh, looks like he had to bail off. Yeah, he bailed down pit lane. I'm not sure if that was intentional. See what happens here. Oh, looks like Brian Pettit pulled a pit stop in there as well. We just saw him leave the grid, or leave the box. So that drops Joe down to 6th, Brian Pettit in 7th. That was one pit stop. So the only one who has not visited the pits, that's not right. All right, let's get back on with the leaders here. We've got Corey going for the lead. Battle for the lead. Corey's going for it. Oh, there's a touch. There's a touch. Hopefully there's no damage. It doesn't look like either car took any damage, but there was contact there. I think Brett may have backed off of that one and given the spot up, knowing that contact happened. So Corey Reynolds back to the lead, and this time it is a legitimate lead. This is all the cars are in sequence. What you're seeing is the proper running order. So we have Corey Reynolds in first. Brett Nagel just dropped down to second. We have Greg Prochnow, AOD 2112 in third. Josh Nessel, having a hard time with that one tonight, fourth. Frank Maya in fifth. Joe Bryant in sixth. And Brian Pettit in seventh. Let's go check in on the GTE cars here. Looks like the front two, Ian and Josh Josh Beeling have pulled away a little bit. Ian's still holding a pretty good gap. Joe Nelson sitting in third. Looks like he managed to get past Tom. And then we've got Tom, Jason Rabe, and Joe Daniels down in fourth, fifth, and sixth. Looks like that's a pretty good battle going on back there. Oh, Jason Rabe just went through into fourth. Sorry, no, he's in fifth. He was in fifth. Joe Daniels trying on the outside. Can he do it? Nope. Not going to get it done this time. So we've got battles going on all through the field right now in both LMP2 and GTE, which, considering how small the grid is, 8 cars in each. Sorry, 7 in LMP2, and we've got 8 in GTE. Got some pretty good close competition here tonight. Good way to start the season. All right, let's check in with Morgan Rash and Bruce Robinson and see what they're struggling with. They both seem to be struggling a little bit. They're both getting lapped by the LMP2s at this point, so they're both seeing blue flags. Nice job letting the leaders by. So I know Bruce has been struggling with setup here for the last few days. He's been struggling to find some pace and some consistency. So he's really just trying to maximize what he can get out of this, survive the race, and get as many points as he can get for the season. This little bit of damage control on this race for him this week. Oh, who's in the wall? Who's in the wall? Is that Frank? That is Frank that spun out. Not sure if he made contact. Oh, we've got another car there. That's Brian Pettit, also off into the wall. I'm not sure if there was contact with them. See if I can rewind this a little bit. No, doesn't look like I can get back to a replay. So we'll have to see what happened there post-race. Hit the highlight reel. Looks like there is some damage there on Frank's car. Not sure if that's from earlier contact or if that's from that incident. Looks like his left rear fender is a little bit wrinkled. Let's take a look at Brian's car and see if he's got any noticeable damage. If there was any signs of contact. Doesn't look like it. It might have just spun in sympathy. Doesn't look like that damage is affecting Frank at all. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Frank is not having a good night tonight. We see there was a change in position here for second and third. Greg Prochnow has pulled past Brett Nagel and gone into second place. He's coming up on a couple of battling GTEs. You can see him flashing his lights. Joe Daniels and Jason Rabe fighting right up there in front. Let's get on board with Jason here. They're both trying to stay well out of his way, let Greg by, and then resume their battle again. Great driving by both guys. Great driving by both GTE drivers. Oh, we got a battle for second again. Looks like Brett managed to close the gap a little bit with that traffic. No, he hasn't cleared that traffic yet. Not sure why I got the battle notification. Let's see how quickly he can get clear through that traffic. Yeah, these guys are experienced multi-class racers. They'll give him plenty of space to get by. There he goes. And then they'll pick up their battle again right away. And I'm going to stick with that battle for a little bit because that looks like it's the closest fight on the track right now. Corvette versus Porsche. You would think that the Porsche would have the advantage in the turns here, being mid-engine. Well, normally Porsches are rear-engine, but in the case of the RSR, the engine is actually mounted in front of the rear wheels. So it's actually more of a mid-engine configuration. Then again, the Corvette, which is traditionally a front-engine car, is almost a mid-engine car as well because the engine has been moved backwards to behind the front axle or behind the front wheels. That's pretty typical with all of these purpose-built race cars, even though they're built from commercially available street cars. They are heavily modified, purpose-built, and so they will reposition components such as the engine, the transmission, things like that for maximum weight distribution. Try to get the weight distribution as close to 50-50 weight distribution front to rear as possible. So in the case of the Corvette, the engine has been moved back. The Corvette has always had a transaxle, meaning that the transmission is actually part of the rear axle. Again, that's for weight distribution. That is true in the road car as well. So it does have its transmission on the rear. And you'll notice on the back of the Corvette, if you take a good look at it there, at the back of the Corvette in the rear bumper, you will see a rather large fan. That is a cooling fan for the transmission oil cooler. And in the case of the RSR, in order to be able to take advantage of the aerodynamic regulations that came into effect in 2016, for the 2017 car, Porsche redesigned the GTE class RSR by moving the engine in front of the rear axle rather than its traditional rear engine mount configuration. The GT3 version of the 911 is still a rear engine car. It's only the GTE class RSR that has had the engine moved in front of the axle, again to improve the weight distribution, but also to make room for that massive rear diffuser that you see. Previous generations of that car could not take advantage of that massive rear diffuser because the engine was in the way. So in order to take advantage of that diffuser and those aerodynamic benefits, they had to move the engine in front of the rear axle. Here you can see the advantage where the Porsche is quicker through the corners. He closes that gap right up. This is a really solid battle we've got going on between these two. This is going to come down to someone making a mistake. Someone's either going to make a mistake or somebody's going to pit before the other one does. And that's going to sort this one out. I don't see this one being sorted out in a straight up fight. Looks like Jason's... Oh, there, speaking of mistakes. Oh, both cars run wide. Looks like we had a little bit of tire smoke there from Jason. Joe Nelson's trying to get into this fight too. We've now got a three-way battle. This is the battle for 4th place in GTE. 3-car battle going on here. This is some great racing we're seeing right here. Looks like we have a battle heating up again for 2nd place. Let me just go check that 2nd place in LMP2. We'll come back to this in a minute. No, that was just a matter of the corners being the way they were. All right, let's get back to that GTE battle. It looks like the LMP2s have spread out a little bit here at this point. This looks to be the best battle on track right now, so we'll stick with it for a little while. Yeah, things have spread out quite a bit in the LMP2 grid. Looks like Frank may have retired. Yeah, he's showing as a DNF, so Frank is retired, unfortunately. Looks like that damage was a little too much for him. There goes Joe. Joe Daniels dives off into the pits. Looks like he's gone for a pit stop, maybe some fresh tires. So he had been running on softs. It looks like all of the GTEs are running softs. Oh no, Bruce Robinson is running on mediums at the moment. Brian Pettit is on mediums oh, we've had a change for the lead. Looks like Corey Reynolds may have pitted. Let me go check on that. We've got Greg Prochnow in first. No, that somehow I missed a straight up pass there. Greg Prochnow has taken the lead. He is on medium tires. Corey Reynolds is on soft, so I wonder if Corey maybe used up the tires already. Looks like we've got a battle shaping up back there for 3rd place as well. Sorry, I missed the pass for the lead. All right, let's go back, take a look at this battle between Jason Rabe and Joe Nelson and see how that's shaping up now. Oh, looks like Joe Nelson, what happened? Oh, he's in the wall. Oh, that is unfortunate. I hope he doesn't have too bad damage. Where did that happen? He is... Oh, that was unfortunate. That was shaping up to be a really good fight there. Yeah, that was into the Maggots Beckett's Chapel complex again that happened. Oh, I really do need a broadcast partner here. There's too much going on for me to be able to keep an eye on all of this. All right, so we do have drivers going for pit stops. Obviously, Joe Nelson was going to be diving in. Looks like, did I see Joe Daniels? Yes, Joe Daniels pitting again. Wonder what happened there. He must have had another incident as well. Let's go do a run through the field. Let's start with... Oh, we've got a battle shaping up again here for the lead. Glad we jumped back here. Greg Prochnow has the lead. Corey Reynolds wants it back. Oh, we've got traffic coming up in front of them as well. It looks like the guys just came out of the pits, the 2 GTE cars. Yep, that is Joe Daniels and Joe Nelson up there. They're going to stay out of this. They'll stay out of the way. Again, they're both experienced multi-class racers, endurance racers. They'll stay out of the way of this battle. They'll see the blue flags being shown to them, and they'll stay out of it. There we go. Did not hinder either battle, and it did not impact the battles at all either. Oh, Greg Prochnow gets it all kinds of sideways. Manages to hang on to it, which is impressive, but loses the spot to Corey Reynolds. Corey's back to the lead. Looks like Josh Nessel just went purple lap time, 1:46.427. That is a fastest lap of the race so far. So he's on a mission to catch up. He's trying to run down Brett Nagel. We've got a yellow in Sector 1. Yellow in Sector 1. Unfortunately, I have no way of seeing who that is and no way of getting the camera on that car. All right. Oh, Josh Beeling has taken the lead in GTE. Ian Pretorius has dropped down to second. I wonder if Ian had an issue. That would be very uncharacteristic if that were the case. We see Tom LeBeuf hanging on in the background there for third place, trying to gain some time. Looks like Joe Daniels has opened up the gap back to Joe Nelson a little bit here. Joe Nelson is back in the pits. That would have been your yellow flag then. Must have had another issue because it looks like he's back in the pits undergoing a lengthy repair. Let's go back to the battle for the lead. Corey Reynolds still has it. Greg Prochnow wants it back. Looks like we've got traffic ahead again. And we've just passed the halfway mark of the race. Didn't quite see who that was in front of them. They're coming up on backmarker traffic. I believe that might be... Is that Morgan Rash that they're coming up on? Yes, it is. It's Morgan Rash in the STP Corvette. Oh, Morgan Rash is starting to gain some ground on Jason Rabe by the look of it as well. So he's going to not want to lose any time, but he's got to let these two LMP2s get by as quickly as he can. Big avoiding action there by Corey. Looks like he almost got into the back of Morgan, and that also led to Greg having to lock up in a reactionary application of the binders. And they're right back at it again. Hopefully that will not have flat spotted those tires for Greg. That will make things very uncomfortable in that car if he has. Closing up on Jason Rabe in one of the worst spots. Oh, Corey gets it all kinds of sideways as well. Manages to hang on to it. Bit of a drifting clinic, and Greg goes flying on by. The challenges of multi-class racing. Trying to time when you catch it. Corey dives into the pits. Looks like he's used up the tires again. Both cars in the pits. This will be interesting. Battle of the pit crews. Greg comes in first. Will he leave first? We'll stick with this and see who comes out first. We've also got Tom LeBeuf in the GTE car just leaving his pit stall as well. Yep. Looks like Greg's got the front tires changed, rear tires being changed. Car's back down off the jacks, refueling now. Who gets out first? Who's it gonna be? Looks like both cars are taking a large amount of fuel. That's surprising. Unless they're getting damage repairs. Oh, looks like Corey's out first. We have a change for the leads in the pits. Done by the pit crews. Well done, boys. And that's a significant gap. That is a significant gap now. Got a yellow in Sector 2. Trying to see if I can figure out who it is. Oh, looks like Brian Pettit has retired. Looks like it might have been him that had that yellow flag, and he just retired as well. So that will be 2 LMP2s, the DNF. They will earn points. Frank will be scored for a last place finish in LMP2, and Brian Pettit will be scored for a... So for Frank, that will be 7th place finish, and Brian will earn a 6th place finish. So they will still earn points. Let's check in on Greg again. Oh, he's coming back into the pits again. That's interesting. Not quite sure what caused that. Let's get on board. Yeah, Brett just took that spot from him now. All right, so Brett and Josh came through as well. Ooh, this is shaping up to be a good fight. These two are closing up. Josh is chasing down Brett. Let's see what happens here. Let's check in on timing and scoring and see which one's putting in the faster laps right now. Looks like Josh is running about 9/10 a lap quicker. He was at least 9/10 faster on that last lap. So he's definitely gaining ground. He's 3/10 quicker through Sector 1. Oh, significantly quicker. 1.3 seconds quicker in Sector 2. This is going to be a big gain for him here. 46.9 for Josh and a 48.8 for Brett. So, yeah, Josh gained some big ground on him again. You can see the gap has visibly shrunk. And they're coming up on lap traffic that I believe is... that is Joe Nelson. Wow, the battle's down to 7/10 of a gap. The gap is down to 7/10. Traffic's going to play a factor here. It slowed up Brett a little bit. Josh is looking for clean air in the braking zones, trying to get the draft on the straight, but then get into clean air in the braking zone to make sure he's got maximum downforce to ensure that he's got the most efficient braking. Doesn't want to lose any front grip for the braking. At the same time, he wants to make sure that he's getting as much toe down the straights as he can get. Looks like Corey has extended his lead. It looks like it's about a 14-second gap right now from between Corey and Brett. So the battle for second here is the closest fight on track right now. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Josh has got some smoke coming out of the engine. Looks like he might be overheating. He's going to have to be careful of that. I don't know if that was... No, that is not brake lockup. That is engine smoke. That is engine smoke. Now, that's most likely caused by his radiators being closed off a little too much. And when he gets in behind the other car, he loses all that cooling air into the air inlets, and that causes the engine to slowly overheat. So he'll have to be careful of that. He'll have to keep a close eye on his water and his oil temperatures. If it's just an overheating issue, he can manage that. He can cool the engine back down again. But he'll have to keep a close eye on that. See if we see any more of that. It looks like it's settled back down again, so it looks like he's managed to get his temperatures back down. You know, GTE looks like we've got a battle picking up there just ahead of these guys as well. Let's go check in on that. Jason Rabe, Tom LeBoeuf, and Morgan Rash. So we've got Corvette, and Porsche RSR with the two LMP2s closing in right on them. All right, let's go back on board or onto Brett here and watch these guys come through traffic. Oh, having to pick their way through. Bit of a gap there now for Brett. Nice driving, everybody. Nice driving. GTE guys managed to get out of the way without impacting that too much. Minimal impact to the LMP2 battle and minimal impact to the GTE battle. Well done. Oh, here we go. Josh is looking. Can he do it? I think Brett's feeling that pressure. That car's looking a little out of shape. Looks like Brett's driving his mirrors a little bit. Oh, what happened with the GTEs? There they are. Okay, looked like they fell back quite a ways. Oh, traffic coming out! Traffic coming out of the pit. That well done. That's Ian Pretorius, another highly experienced endurance racer, multi-class racing. He would have been well aware of that traffic coming. He would have stayed well over to the right side to stay out of the way. So you can see Brett did manage to build up a bit of a lead again, a bit of a buffer. Gap increased to 1.2 seconds. But Josh is coming right back at him again. So traffic played into that. The fact that Josh had to back off a little bit to let his engine cool off a little bit played into that. But now they're right back into it again. And they're catching up on the GTE leader, Josh Beeling in the Corvette up there. Ian Pretorius drives, who we just saw a few minutes ago. You see him in the background there, the BMW. That is your second place in GTE. Looks like Jason Rabe pulled into the pits because Morgan Rash and Tom LeBoeuf have both passed him now, so I believe that he has done his pit stop. Looks like all the GTE cars were getting blue flags at once, so they're all dealing with traffic. So what started off a little bit awkward, first race of the season, first race in a new platform, has actually turned into a pretty good motor race here. Quite an exciting battle happening here on track right now. These two are going at it pretty heavily here. Catching up to Bruce Robinson there just ahead of them. Let's see if that becomes a factor. I don't think it will. Josh is all over the back of Brett right now. He's looking for any opening he can find. See, these cars are slipping and sliding and dancing all over the place. These guys are pushing really hard right now. Josh is pushing to get the spot, and Brett is pushing to hang on to it. Unfortunately, Brett is also probably driving a little bit in his mirrors, which means he's not focused 100% on the track in front of him. Of course, with a car so close behind you looking for any opening, it's understandable that you would be driving in your mirrors a little bit. You do want to make sure that you're aware of where that car behind you is in case he tries to make a move so that you don't turn down into him. And at the same time, you want to position yourself in such a way that you don't leave him an opening to go in. It's like Brett got the better run through the last section on the track there. Opened up the gap a little bit again. Been a pretty steady back and forth here with these two. Oh, looks like Josh... No, No, thought Josh had the run on him. Josh is trying a different line here. He's going a little further to the outside. Is he going to try the over-under? Oh, he's just going to try and go around the outside. Brett does a nice job of holding and defending the inside. Underbraking, underbraking. Josh is trying. Oh, that was bound to happen. That was heavy contact. Now, unfortunately, let's see if either one of them have suffered serious damage. Now, the man who has gained on this a little bit is Greg Prochnow, AOD 2112. That will have closed up the gap for him a little bit. Corey Reynolds, he'll have gained more time ahead of these guys, so that'll put him sitting a little safer. Looks like both cars are handling okay, so it may have just been the loss of track position for both of them rather than any real significant damage. We'll see if they dive into the pits at the end of this lap. Unfortunately, that incident happened after the pit entrance, so there was no chance for either one of them to go to the pits at that point. Didn't see any signs of brake lockup, so I think that I don't want to make any assumptions, but that may have just been a slightly optimistic attempt there by Josh. We'll have to look at the replay on that. Looks like Josh suffered some damage. He's pulled into the pits. Brett continues on, so it looks like Brett's okay. That's good news for Brett. I will apologize again to our viewers on Twitch. I have not been monitoring the chat room. I've been pretty tied up here with cameras and live timing and the race itself, so I do apologize if I've missed any chat messages in the chat box. Hope you're enjoying the race. It's been a interesting race to say the least. Let's check back in again with the GTE guys here. Josh Beeling running 6th overall and 1st in class in GTE. He's got a pretty good lead over Ian Pretorius. Looks like Ian just put another lap on Bruce Robinson, who's been hanging on there. He's picked up a couple of spots. I know Bruce was struggling, but he's gained a few spots back there in GTE. It's all he was trying to do. He just wanted to survive it and maximize his points haul on this one, because he was struggling a little bit with the setup. Not his best track to start off with. But he's managed to get himself up into 6th in class. So that's some points gains for him there. Oh, that is not looking good for Josh. That's Josh Nessel that you see smoking there. That looks like an engine about to let go. I'll have to check with him post-race. If he manages to finish the race, I'll have to check with him. He's got 22 minutes left. Can he nurse that thing to the finish? All right, let's pick up again with our GTE recap here. We've got Jason Rabe running 4th in class. And it looks like Morgan Rash, running 5th in class, is gaining a little bit of ground on him. This could be shaping up to be another battle here for us again. They could be going at it again shortly. We'll come back to this in a bit. Check in with Bruce Robinson. Again, he's just doing exactly what he set out to do. Just run his pace and pick up whatever points he can pick up. And it looks like he's doing exactly that. See, we've got a battle shaping up for 2nd in LMP2. So let's get back up with Brett Nagel. Looks like he's got... yeah, Greg's closing in on him a little bit, but he's still quite a ways back. I'm not sure why that flagged me is showing... why it flagged me to show me that there was a battle there, but they are closing in. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Joe Nelson heading back into the pits again. He's been having a rough afternoon here, a rough evening. Don't think that race has gone at all the way he wanted it to go. Oh, looks like Joe Daniels has also retired, so we've got at least 3 retirees tonight. So Joe Nelson is the last car still on track circulating. This last place car that's on track. Let's go check in again with Jason Rabe and Morgan Rash and see how that battle is shaping up. Ooh, Brett Nagel coming through that battle. We'll stick here with Jason Rabe for a little bit and see what happens here with Morgan Rash. It looks like Morgan might be gaining some ground on him. Keep an eye on these lap times. Yeah, Morgan is definitely gaining ground. He did that last lap at least. Jason's last lap was a 2:01.660. Sorry, Jason's last... Okay. Jason's last lap was a 2:02.356, and Morgan's last lap was a 2:00.717. So about a 1.5 a lap quicker there. And we got Greg Prochnow in the Red Dragon coming through there as well, through that traffic. Yeah, that'll be an easy clear. Oh, except Greg overshot it hard on the brakes. That'll flat spot those tires. But he got clear before the corner. That, however, has allowed Morgan to close up a little bit more. Trying to avoid Greg's car ended up costing Jason a little bit of time, and that caused Morgan to close right back up on him. You'll notice that each of these cars has an illuminated number, a red number on the side of the car. On the GTE class, it's a red number. I believe it's also red on the LMP2s. We'll check that next time we're on board with an LMP2. That number indicates the position in class. So you see the numbers. The number 4 is showing 04. That is Jason Rabe running 4th in class in the GTE cars. If we take a look at Morgan's car, you'll see that he'll have a 05 on that position light. And there you see it just to the right of the STP logo. He's got a big 05 illuminated there. Let's check in with our race leader. You know what? I'm going to stay here. This is shaping up to be a fight here right now. Battle of the Corvettes. Let's see how this turns out. this point, the problem for Jason is that Morgan is close enough now that he's going to get a draft down these straights. So he's going to have to be prepared for Morgan to pop out and try and outbreak him into these corners. Battle for second in LMP2, second overall, is down to just under 8 seconds now between Brett Nagel and Greg Prochnow, AOD 2112. The gap here, however, between these two, between Jason Rabe and Morgan Rash, is significantly closer. Yeah, Morgan's looking. Morgan's looking. Drag race down the back here. Jason's still got it. What can Morgan do? He's looking. He's trying to go to the outside. He's trying to set him up. Oh, I think there was a bit of a touch there. Might have been a network spike, but that might have been a bit of a touch there. Down to under 15 minutes remaining in the race. This is definitely the closest battle on track right now. Got an LMP2 lurking in the background. That's Joe Bryant, the number 16 back there. The gap between Brett Nagel and Greg Prochnow for second in LMP2 is holding pretty steady at the moment. Keep an eye on that. Not seeing much of anything else as far as those kinds of battles goes. We'll check in with the GTE leaders in a minute, but I want to see how this one shapes out, especially now that there's LMP2 traffic coming here. And then we'll check in to see how Josh Nessel is doing, but it looks like that's him in the background there. Nicely done, guys. Nice job letting Joe Bryant through. Nobody impacted by that overtake at all. No effect on the battle. Challenge of multi-class racing. You got to worry about the battle that you're in and watching the guy that you're fighting against, but then you've also got to worry about these LMP2 guys trying to come through. Looks like Josh Nessel has gotten that engine issue under control for now. He should be able to limp that car home and nurse it back. Oh, Jason got a little bit loose there under acceleration. No harm, no foul. Morgan didn't gain much there. Looks like Jason's tires might be going off a little bit. He's having a hard time putting the power down. Looks like that's where Morgan's gaining most of his ground, is under acceleration. All right, you've got a bit of a gap opened up again there. Let's take this moment just to go check in on the field. We'll do the run through the field. I will keep an eye on this, try and come back to it as quickly as I can. So we've got Corey Reynolds running in first in LMP2, and he's pretty much free and clear of everybody. No real challenges for him. He's just got to keep it pointing in the right direction for the next 10, 12 minutes. Brett Nagel running in second. Oh, Greg just went off. There goes any chance of a battle for second. You'll see that Greg is running in third, and yes, we can confirm that the LMP2s do have the blue position lights. Josh Nessel running fourth in class in LMP2. Looks like he's got his engine temperature issue sorted. Looks like he backed off enough to be able to get those temperatures back down again. Joe Bryant running fifth in class, and the last of the running LMP2s. Brian Pettit and Frank Maya both have retired. Brian and Frank both in the garage. Going back to GTE now, Josh Beeling is your GTE leader in the number 3 Corvette. He's got a pretty substantial and healthy gap there over Ian Pretorius in second place in the number 99 BMW. He's got a fairly respectable and fairly healthy gap back to third over Tom LeBeuf in the Honey Badger RSR number 245. And this, oh, Jason just lost it. Just lost it. Not sure what happened there. Oh, man, that's a heartbreak. That was such a great battle. Morgan Rash just right there takes over fourth. I'm not sure if that was a case of just not enough downforce on the rear wing because of how close Morgan was, or if Jason maybe just tried carrying a little too much speed into there. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. That was such a good battle. Just lost the back end clearly. So Morgan Rash moves up to fourth in class. Jason down to fifth. I don't think we've seen the end of that battle. Bruce Robinson just steady on. Carries on up to sixth place. Joe Nelson is the last of the GTE runners still on track, running in seventh. And we've got Joe Daniels, a.k.a. Power, down in eighth place in GTE, and he retired some laps ago. So let's see, what do we have going on for battles? Anything significant worth watching here? No, I think we're pretty much locked in right now, unless somebody has a catastrophic issue. We're down to under 8 minutes remaining in the race. I think our positions are pretty well set. I'm just going to keep going through the grid here and see if we can find anything significant brewing. Oh, Joe, nice save. Ran a little wide, looked like he was going to lose the back, managed to hang on to it. I do want to throw a quick shout out to our marketing partners, the guys over at Intact Gaming, Intact GG. Very established group of gaming esports team, Intact GG. looking to eventually maybe get involved in some of the racing that we're doing. Looking for some of the guys to get maybe involved in that, but they are a very established gaming and esports team, highly successful. Just recently had some more victories and championship award over on their side. If you're into any of the first-person shooter type games, feel definitely check them out. Also want to give a shout out to our hosting service for the servers here for R Factor 2 Sadler Computers in the UK. They host the server that we've been running on. I want to give a shout out to them as well. Where were we? All right, let's check in with GTE. We've got Josh Bieling here looking to put another lap on Bruce Robinson. Unfortunately caught him in a challenging spot. This is the whole Beckett's Chapel complex. Oh, no, I take that back. That was coming through left field. Approaching cops now. Bruce will be seeing the blue flags, and he will be trying to let Josh by without giving up too much time on his own here. So the Beckett's Chapel complex here now. And I'm sure Josh will get by on the main straight down here, down Hanger Straight. Proper technique there. Bruce just takes his normal racing line and lets Josh decide where he's going to go. Josh takes the inside. Pass complete. No issues there. Ian's dealing with LMP2 traffic here in second place in GTE. And looks like Brett Nagel just dove for the pits. Hard on the brakes to get that pit limiter line. Speed limit line. Oh, careful. Not sure if that's for fuel and tires or what. Was not expecting that with under 4 minutes left to go. Looks like that was just for a splash and go. Quick splash of fuel just to make sure he's got enough to get to the end and back out again. He's not going to lose any spots. Although actually, it looks like he may have. Let's do a reset here. We've got Corey Reynolds in first. And somehow, we've got Josh Nessel back up into second place in LMP2. So between Brett's pit stop just now, and I'm guessing 2112, a.k.a. Greg Prochnow, I'm guessing that he either had more struggles or had to pit as well. Just hope Josh can have that engine hang on till the end of the race. He's got 2.5 minutes left to go. Again, having to deal with GTE traffic that he's trying to pass in the worst possible section on track to try and get around traffic. And there's Greg in the background. So we may still see a battle for second place here. Greg's going to be pushing hard. Josh is going to be trying to nurse that engine to the end. He's got 2 minutes left to go. We'll come back to that in a minute. I believe that's Bruce Robinson's BMW in the background there, so yeah, that was Bruce Robinson's BMW in the background. So the gap between first and second in GTE is still holding pretty steady. Morgan Rash in third now. Looks like Jason Rabe has dropped well off again. That's a pretty significant gap back between third and fourth. I think Jason's just going to try and hang on to that fourth place now. He's not going to push too hard anymore to try and catch Morgan. I think that's out of reach. Down to a little over a minute left remaining in the race. Let's get back to Josh and see if... Oh, no, wait a minute. We're now showing Brett Nagel in third and Greg Prochnow down into fourth. Not quite sure how that came to be. The post-race results and looking at the lap charts is going to be interesting to see exactly where all these positional changes happened. We'll be making that available on our website as well for anybody that wants to see that post-race analysis. We'll have that up on the website in the next day or two post-race. A lot that goes into making these races and broadcasts happen. It's almost a full-time job. It's a good thing we've got 2 weeks between each race. Conversations post-race are going to be interesting between the drivers too, I'm sure. Definite learning experience for everybody with this being our first official formal race in the new platform. We've done a number of evaluation and testing and practice events, but it's always a little different once you get to the real one, the one that actually counts. That's when you realize the little things that you didn't think of beforehand. And that's it, checkered flag. We are done. Corey Reynolds, first place in LMP2. Has Josh Beeling crossed the stripe yet? Not yet. Looks like he's coming around to take the finish now. He'll get the checkered flag as he comes around. And that's it, folks. So your final standings unofficially are Corey Reynolds, first place LMP2 and first place overall. Looks like Josh Nessel managed to hang on to second place. There he is crossing the stripe. Hung on to second place in LMP2. Brett Nagel will hang on to third. There's Brett Nagel coming across the stripe, and right behind him is Josh Beeling taking the win in GTE. We've got Greg Prochnow finishing in fourth place in LMP2. We've got Ian Pretorius right in front of him. He'll come across in second in GTE. And that's it, folks. That's all she wrote. So again, just a reminder, go back to our schedule here. We will be back again in 2 weeks on the 9th of March for the round 2 at the Slovakia Ring. And we will be bringing that race to you as well. Same time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the broadcast start. Hope to see you then. In the meantime, check us out at CanAmVRL.com. Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. See you in 2 weeks.